Jai Shyama Sundar. Jai Gaura Hari. Thank you. How are you doing? Working today? Or you working today? Yeah, what happened? Can you give me the other drum? It's too tight. Okay, I can loosen this. Okay. Govinda. Takes 5 years just to loosen. It's Kali Yuga. Govinda, Govinda. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivaradari. Jaya Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivaradari. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hey Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivaradari. Jai Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivaradari. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari.
Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jayaratha Matava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Paragraj ISKCON Ashtatala Satashi Śrīmad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Grantaraj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam Ki Nitai Go Premanande. All glories to Srimad devotees, all glories to Srimad devotees, all glories to Srimad devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. You actually have to bow down fully. Yeah. When you do it, you have to actually. Yeah. Narayanam namaskritya naram cheva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udirayat. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 11, chapter entitled, Lord Ramachandra Rules the World. Text number 2. Otre dada disham prachim Brahmane dakshinam Prabhu Advayave pratichimva Uttaram samagayasa Otre dada disham prachim Brahmane dakshinam Prabhu Advayave pratichimva Uttaram samagayasa Otre dada disham prachim Brahmane dakshinam Prabhu Advayave pratichimva Uttaram samagayasa. Mataji's. Hotre unto the Hota priest who offers oblations. Adadat gave. Disham direction. Prachim the whole eastern side. Brahmane unto the Brahma priest who supervises what is done in the sacrificial arena. Dakshinam, the southern side. Prabhu, Lord Ramachandra. Advaryave, unto the Advaryu priest. Pratichim, the whole western side. Va, also. Uttaram, the northern side. Samagaya, unto the Udgata priest, who sings the Samaveda. Saha, he, Lord Ramachandra. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Lord Ramachandra gave the entire east to the Hota priest, the entire south to the Brahma priest, the west to the Advayu priest, and the north to the Udgata priest, the reciter of the Samaveda. In this way he donated his kingdom. Translation responsively. Lord Ramachandra gave the entire east to the Hota priest, the entire south to the Brahma priest, the west to the Advayu priest, and the north to the Udgata priest, the reciter of the Samaveda. In this way, he donated his kingdom. Text number 3. Therefore, thinking that because the Brahmanas have no material desires, they should possess the entire world, Lord Ramachandra delivered the land between the east, west, north, and south to the Acharya. After thus giving everything in charity to the Brahmanas, Lord Ramachandra retained only his personal garments and ornaments. And similarly, the queen, Mother Sita, was left with only her nose ring and nothing else. All the Brahmanas who were engaged in the various activities of the sacrifice were very pleased with Lord Ramachandra, who was greatly affectionate and favorable to the Brahmanas. Thus, with melted hearts, they returned all the property received from him and spoke as follows. Purport. In the previous chapter, it was said that the prajas, the citizens, strictly followed the system of Varnashram Dharma. The Brahmanas acted exactly like Brahmanas, the Kshatriyas acted exactly like Kshatriyas, and so on. Therefore, when Lord Ramachandra gave everything in charity to the Brahmanas, being qualified, wisely considered that Brahmanas are not meant to possess property to make a profit from it. The qualification of a Brahmana are given in the Bhagavad Gita 1842, Samodamas tapasocham, shanti ajavam evacha, jnanam vijnanam ashtikyam, brahmakama swabhavajam. Peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, wisdom, knowledge, and religiousness. These are the qualities by which the Brahmanas work. The Brahminical character offers no scope for possessing land and ruling citizens. These are the duties of a Kshatriya. Therefore, although the Brahmana did not refuse Lord Ramachandra's gift, after accepting it, they returned it to the king. The Brahmanas were so pleased with Lord Ramachandra's affection toward them that their hearts melted. They saw that Lord Ramachandra, aside from being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was fully qualified as a Kshatriya and was exemplary in character. One of the qualifications of a Kshatriya is to be charitable. A Kshatriya or ruler levies taxes upon the citizens not for his personal sense gratification, but to give charity to in suitable cases. Dhanam Ishvara Bhava. On one hand, Kshatriyas have the propensity to rule, but on the other, they are very liberal with charity. When Maharaj Yudhishthira gave charity, he engaged Karna to take charge of distributing it. Karna was very famous as Datta Karna. The word Datta refers to one who gives charity very liberally. The kings always kept a large quantity of food grains in stock, and whenever there was any scarcity of grains, they would distribute grains in charity. A Kshatriya's duty is to give charity, and a Brahmana's duty is to accept charity, but not more than needed to maintain body and soul together. Therefore, when the Brahmanas were given so much land by Lord Ramachandra, they returned it to him and were not greedy. Om Gyan Timarandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Mulitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swa Padantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Brinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare. So these two chapters are describing the pastime of Lord Ramachandra. Lord Ram appeared in Treta Yuga, so we're talking millions of years ago. Kali Yuga is 432,000 years long. Then Dwapara Yuga is 864,000 years long. Then Treta Yuga must be like 30. I don't know the exact number, but it must be like 1,300,000 years long. Then Satya Yuga is like 1.6 million years long. You put them all together, that's 320,000 years. That's a Divya Yuga when you get one cycle together. And then in Lord Brahma's day, there's 1,000. So that gives us a perspective of the time in the universe. So in Treta Yuga, it was much more, people lived much longer. People in Treta Yuga, they were living about 10,000 years at a time. And Lord Ramachandra, he was ruling during that time. And it says during his rule, it was so pious, so auspicious, it would only rain at night. So then you get up during the day and the weather was calm and perfect. When the weather is not auspicious, that means there's impiety within the society. Just like you see the big floods around the world. Texas just had big flood. China had big flood. A few other places also. Australia, actually. They had that flood about a month ago up in New South Wales. Said once in 500 years, that flood. The whole town was underwater. So this is because of impiety. Now, when the citizens are pious, this won't happen. Now, you'll have like calm, peaceful situation in society. But when people are not pious, then everything becomes disjointed. So people lived for much longer at that time, during Lord Ramachandra's reign. And it describes that people were following the Varnashram system. We hear about Varnashram within Bhagavatam, within Mahabharata, within the Vedas. It's not really there now. We don't really have a lot of Varna. Like you don't meet a devotee And you don't say to the devotee, which Varna are you in? You don't say, are you Brahmana, or are you Kshatriya, are you Vaishya, or are you Sudra? Like that. Because, probably all of us would say we're Brahmanas, or maybe Kshatriyas. Few of us might say we're Vaishyas. Probably none of us would say we're Sudras. Although in the Shastra it says, Kalo Sudro Sambhav, which means in Kali Yuga we're considered by birth Sudra or less. Previously, they were following a Varnashram system. People were they had the natural qualities of the Varnas. Even we see it in Kali Yuga, we see that devotees generally have some inclination towards one of the Varnas. They have like more Brahminical nature, or more Kshatriya nature, more like managing, or Vaishya, some devotees good making money. Sudra means some devotees just like to do service, menial service. So everyone has their different natures, roughly there, but we don't identify with it strongly. Even sometimes I've heard devotees say, I am a Brahmana. I've heard devotees say that. I am Brahmana. I am a Brahmana. Yeah, maybe. According to previous standards, the Brahmanas were much more powerful. They had particular quality. You have to be careful of this, actually. If we have to understand who and what we are, if we identify ourselves as anything, it's Vaishnava Bas. No, we're just trying to be a Vaishnava. We're not even Vaishnavas at this point. One time, some devotees fell down. They left Krishna consciousness while Prabhupada was here. And devotees fell down, they left Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada said, if they are Vaishnava, why they are falling down? A Vaishnava doesn't fall down. Prabhupada did not fall down. Why? Because he's a Vaishnava. We are Vaishnava Bas, which means shadow. Just like you have your shadow, that's what they call it, right? Has it got another name, our shadow? No, okay, shadow. I thought we had a particular name for it. Anyway, so our shadow, which is there, then it's not us, it looks like us, but it's not exactly, it's a shadow. Right? So Vaishnava Bas means we look like a Vaishnava. We put on the tilak, kantimala, dhoti, sari. We look like Vaishnava, Vaishnavi. But we're Vaishnava Bas because in the heart, it is not pure. My heart is not pure, so I can't claim to be a Vaishnava. I could fall down from Krishna consciousness. Right? Prabhupada said Maya is very powerful. Srila Prabhupada once said, if I have one criticism of my disciples, it is they do not fear Maya enough. Maya is very powerful, much more powerful than us. If she wants to take us, she can. Right? She knows what your price is and she can offer it. She knows. She knows what it'll take to take you away. If she's not taking you away, that's just because Krishna is glancing on you and Maya is saying, okay, I'll be a little bit easy on this person. When Krishna says release that person, then Maya will completely release us. But Krishna has not said that yet. That's why we're kind of in this juxtaposition. We're kind of like, we're in the internal energy to a degree, Daivi Prakriti, but we're also very heavily influenced by Mahamaya. Mama Maya Durachaya, Krishna says in Gita, it is very hard to overcome Maya. Right? Maya is very powerful. Because what does Maya make you believe? You are the body. We all believe we are the body. We act like we're the body every day. Even when, before I was chanting Jai Radha Madhava, so I was meditating. Jai Radha Madhava, Kunja Bihar. So we try to meditate on Krishna's pastimes. And we try to meditate that I am trying to follow the servants of Krishna within his pastimes. But then we open our eyes again and then we see we're back in there, so then we start identifying with this world again. So we're in between the two energies at this point in time. So we have to increase our attachment to the Daivi Prakriti. Actually, if you want to go back to Godhead, hands up if you want to go back to Godhead. Okay. If you want to go back to Godhead, you have to give one life to Lord Chaitanya. Tamal Krishna Maharaj was sitting with Prabhupada in Juhu on the balcony, and he was complaining to Prabhupada. He said, Prabhupada is so difficult. Every day we have to go to the court, They were fighting for that Juhu land. Took 2 years, the court case. And they had to go to the court every day, to their lawyer's office. It was very difficult seva. Very difficult. Sometimes we have to do difficult seva. So they're doing so, and he was saying, I have to go there, and I've memorized the municipality laws of Mumbai, but I don't even know the shlokas in the Bhagavad Gita, and I'm a sannyasi, and he's complaining to Prabhupada. He's saying, going on and on. Then Prabhupada cut him short. Prabhupada said, for so many lifetimes, you've served so many other masters. This one lifetime, you just serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And at the end of your life, whatever you are lacking, Lord Chaitanya will cover that, and he will take you back to Godhead. Srila Prabhupada ki. So if you want to go back to Godhead, that's how you do it. You just give one life to Lord Chaitanya, to serving the Sankirtan movement. And you don't commit offenses to the Vaishnavas. This is very important, because sometimes we see devotees commit offenses to the other devotees and they think, that's okay because I'm doing so much service. No, Krishna does not see it like that. Sadhu Ninda, right? What is the first offense when we chant the 10 offenses in the morning? Sadhu Ninda, right? Vaishnav Aparad, right? This is explained by Mahaprabhu in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Even if you're doing so much service, but if you are offending the Vaishnavas, it restricts your access to the mercy of Krishna. And sometimes the devotees are offending the devotees, and they think they're not offending the devotees. Then maybe go to the devotees and ask them if they're offended. I'm not offending the devotees. My guru wants me to. I've heard devotees say that. My guru wants me to do. How do you know your guru wants you to do that? That's a very proud statement. Why don't you ask your god brothers and god sisters their opinion? And if they all say, yes, you're doing the right thing, okay, maybe you're doing the right thing. But if you're just saying yourself, then maybe you're committing offenses to the devotees. You have to be very careful. Just like if you have a bank account, hands up if you have a bank account. Hey, Brahmacharya's put up, what's this? Huh? Yeah, what? All right, I want to see the balance. I want to see. So, we all have bank accounts, except for the Brahmacharis. Brahmacharis in Kali Yuga, even they have bank accounts. But okay, so we all have bank accounts. Let's just be honest like that. Okay, so we have bank account, right? But if you have problem with the bank, right? Sometimes you have problem with the bank. Block the account. You could have $1 million there, but you can't access it. That's what it's like if you commit offenses to the Vaishnavas. If you offend the devotees, Krishna's mercy is there, but you can't get it. And you might even think you're getting Krishna's mercy, but you're not getting Krishna's mercy. Just like we have this Ritvik philosophy. We've had a whole break-off from ISKCON. Actually, that's aparad to the Guru, because you're not obeying the order of the spiritual master. Prabhupada's, you read it, I read it the other day actually, May the 28th, 1977. The devotees came to Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, if you have any questions about when I am gone, ask them now. So they had 5 questions, they came, right? Their leaders came. Satsarup Maharaj, Tamokrishna Maharaj, many came. They asked Prabhupada 5 questions. One of them was, what happens with the disciples after you lose? Will they become your disciple or like that? So when you read it, it is clear. Prabhupada said, Guru, you will become the Guru. Right? It's very clear. Prabhupada makes it. And when everyone left the room, right, I've heard the devotees say that no one felt like there was confusion about the instruction. However, I read it the other day, you could, right, if you had a certain motivation, read it differently. You could, and that's what they've done. So now they have this philosophy that Prabhupada is the last Acharya and we're all taking initiation from him. Right? When you get the initiation, you're actually Prabhupada's disciple. Even I was in Vrindavan one time and I met one devotee and I said, who are you initiated by? He said, Prabhupada. And I looked at him, he's about 30 years old. Oh. Okay, so either he's really advanced and he's gone into the spiritual pastimes and he's met Prabhupada and Prabhupada gave him initiation, or he's not following, he's not following Prabhupada's instruction. So if you do like that, it is Vaishnava aparad. It's actually Guru avagya. You're offending the Guru. Don't disobey. What's the third instruction? The third offense against the holy name. Do not disobey the orders of the spiritual master. Right? Prabhupada gave an order, now you're not following. All the mercy is there, but you cannot access it. Right? You may not be guaranteed to go back to Godhead. You have to be very careful. Right? If you want to go back to Godhead, like before we said, give one life to Lord Chaitanya, don't commit offenses, don't disobey the order of the Guru, then Lord Chaitanya will cover, because I can tell you now, honestly, I know I am not going to be a pure devotee at the time of my death. I know it. I know I'm not going to transcend all my material desire. I know that. But I'm going to try my best to give everything in this life I can, as much as I can, to Lord Chaitanya's mission. And at the end, I'll pray very humbly and I'll say, if you want to cover what I'm lacking and take me back, then that is your mercy. And if you want to send me back for another lifetime, and then I have to serve in ISKCON again, that's okay as well. I can do like that. Because the prasadam in ISKCON is quite good. So what's the problem? It's not really a problem, is it? Like, we do take birth again, it's not really a problem. We come into ISKCON, we do more seva, right? We take very nice prasadam, we get to preach. Just do it again. It's not bad. But if Lord Chaitanya is very merciful, he might even take us back to Krishna. He might do that. That would be wonderful. But I know for a fact I'm not going to be qualified. If it's based on my qualification, I know for a fact I'm not going to be qualified. But if Lord Chaitanya is very merciful, anything can happen. Right? And Prabhupada has said it, so I have faith that maybe that can take place. So that is where we stand. So that's how you go back to Godhead. You just give one lifetime. Prabhupada said, do not leave our camp. Do not leave. Sometimes you see devotees, they go outside of ISKCON. ISKCON is not perfect. Right? One time Prabhupada said to Brahmananda Prabhu, ISKCON is not going on because of you, it's going on in spite of you. Right? That's what it's like. Sometimes, it's like we're like the monkey army of Lord Ramachandra. We're like all the monkeys, right, running around trying to do some service. Sometimes we get it right, sometimes we know behind the scenes what happens, right? But we're trying our best to serve. And then that is accepted by Lord Chaitanya, right? And then maybe Lord Chaitanya will be very merciful on us and maybe he'll take us back to Krishna. But you have to be very careful you don't commit offenses. Even there was one devotee, I was discussing with my wife yesterday, you have to be very careful of Guru avagya, right? Because offense number 1 and offense number 3 are very closely connected, right? To disobey the order of the spiritual master, to blaspheme the devotees. Okay, why are they connected? Because if you disobey the order of the spiritual master, you will lose your taste and then you'll begin to criticize the devotees, right? It's directly correlated. Or, the other way, if you criticize the devotees and offend the devotees, you'll lose your taste and you'll stop following the order of the spiritual master, right? They're closely connected, these two offenses, right? So you have to be very careful. That's why Prabhupada sometimes he says spiritual life is a razor's edge. When we shave, right? If you're not careful, cut, right? So spiritual life is like that. Be careful the way you deal with the devotees. Radhanath Swami says, if you offend the devotee, it's like taking a thorn and pushing it into Krishna's foot. Would you ever do that? So why do you offend his devotees? Huh? Imagine none of us would do that. None of us would put a pin into Krishna's foot. None of us would do that. But when you blaspheme the devotee, that's what you're doing. We do that. We do. We all criticize the devotees. Hands up if you've never criticized a devotee. See, we all did it. So it means you think Krishna is happy? You do that. So I was telling my wife yesterday, one devotee, he was servant of Prabhupada. He was in Prabhupada's party. He was either the servant or the Sanskrit editor. He was in Prabhupada's party in the 70s. But then he became attracted to another guru. So he came to Prabhupada, right? And he said to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, please bless me that I can find a real guru. Imagine saying that to Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, I bless you, you will get a real guru after 60,000 lifetimes. Right? Imagine having that on your head. Right? So that devotee, he left ISKCON. He lives in America. He's a professor. He's still a Vaishnava, still practicing, right? Living his life. But imagine having that sitting on top of you, right? I couldn't do it. I would run to Prabhupada. I'd fall down in front of his murti. I would cry and I'd say, please forgive me. So you have to be very careful with these things. So Lord Ramachandra in his time, people were brahmanas, they were kshatriyas, it was very clear. In Kali Yuga it's not so clear. So we should not become proud. Sometimes I hear devotees say, I'm brahmana. Yeah, okay, maybe you're brahmana. Maybe you're brahmana. Some devotees definitely they're brahmanas. They definitely have the qualification, but don't go around saying that. When someone says, who are you? Just like, Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur, Prabhupada's guru. His disciples would come, he would say, Dasosmi. That's how we think of ourselves. Like, I'm Kesava Das, right? I always forget the second part. Right? I'm just Kesava. Right? No, you're Kesava Das. That's why we get the name at initiation, but we always forget the second part. Right? We are just a servant. Gopi Bhatu, Pada Kamalayo, Dasa Dasa, Anudasa. That's all we are. We're just servant of the servant. And we're not even very good at doing that. Right? We're not even very good servant of the servant of the servant of the servant. So then what's the use of going around saying, I'm Brahmana, I'm Kshatriya, I'm Vaishya, I'm definitely not a Sudra. But Shastra says, Kalo Sunjoro Sambhava, you are. You were born less than Shudra. You only became something because of Prabhupada. I always say this to Prabhupada when I go to Vrindavan and I go to his samadhi and I see him. In his samadhi I see his dad. I always say, I was nothing before I met you, Prabhupada. I always say that to him. Because before I met him, I was just one guy living here in Melbourne, with a nice haircut, going around. Not doing anything particularly significant with my life. And then I was very fortunate, I got one of Prabhupada's books, and Krishna was making my life uncomfortable enough that I read the book. I probably wouldn't even read the book, but my life was uncomfortable enough that I read it, and then I got struck. That book was called Coming Back. And there's one story in there about Jad Bharata. And when I read that, and I read Jad Bharata, he was not attached to anything. And I thought, that's how I want to be. I want to be like that. So then I came to Hare Krishna Temple, 1989, walked in. I was dressed in my suit, looked because I thought I'm going, so I have to look very nice, so I walked in. I came here, and for 40 minutes, there was no one there. It's not like that anymore. Now it's always busy, people walk around. There's no one here for 40 minutes. Just me and the fish. The fish. Yeah, the fish. They're devotees as well. So I was just me and the fish for 40 minutes. And when I walked in, I thought, wow, what is this place? So peaceful. I don't want to leave. That's how I felt. I don't want to leave this place. So they were sitting here, just outside on the chair, just out. And then after 40 minutes, Jagannath Ballabha Prabhu, dressed in saffron, walking from paraphernalia room to Didi room. And he walked 3 times, just going back and forth like this. And every time he walked past, he just looked at me. Right? He didn't say anything. And I thought, wow. I thought, he doesn't even speak. He's like Jad Bharat. He's like, that's how I felt. I thought, wow. It's just that he's a monk. He's just like, he's not even in this world. I thought, wow, I don't want to leave this place. I just want to stay here, like, be like him. He's my first guru. First devotee I ever saw in this life. Right? So then, finally he came, and he went and got one Mataji, and then she came and she preached to me. And she said, what do you do? And I said, I study acting, I do modeling and these things. And she said, you can do this for Krishna. And I thought, what is she saying? Oh, I don't want to do that. I want to leave all that. So I said, thank you. Thank you. It was nice to speak to you. And then Jaitira Charan Prabhu, he used to be the head pujari. He came and he said, oh, is someone looking after you? And I said, oh, no, I just came. And he said, do you want prasad? And I just looked at him and went, yeah, I didn't know what he was saying. He said, we want prasad. And I said, what is that? He said, oh, lunch. And I said, okay, yeah, I'll take lunch. I'm famous for taking prasad, taking a little bit too much. Don't criticize the devotees. So I said, okay. So he took me up there and they served Rajbhog. And I still remember to this day, camphor sweet rice. When I ate that, I thought, wow, what is this place? And then I finished everything, and he said, you want more? I said, okay. So then, again, another plate. And then I finished, he said, you want more? I said, okay. So I had three times. I still remember camphor sweet. I'm like, wow. I thought, what is this place? You eat like this. You just walk around like a monk. And it's like, it's like, this place is amazing. And I spoke to him for 2 hours. And at the end, I said, I want to live here. And then he said, come back on Sunday, you can meet the temple president, Balaram Prabhu. So I came back on Sunday, and then I spoke to Balaram Prabhu for 2 hours. And I said, I want to live here. And he said, you can't live here. We never met you before. You're just this guy, you just walk in, with the haircut and, like that. And then he said to me, he said, are you chanting? And I said, chanting what? And then he said, okay. So he got me beads, gave me beads. Next day I started chanting 16 rounds. And then I said, I want to live here. And then I convinced, after 2 hours, I wouldn't stop. Everything, didn't matter what he said. I said, I want to stay here. And he said, okay. And he said, when? I said, just give me 3 days. I'll tie everything up, I'll come back. So then I went home, I told my mother. I said, I'm becoming Hare Krishna. She said, what are you doing? What are you doing to your mother? And she said to me, she said, I will buy you an air ticket right now to anywhere in the world if you don't do this. And I said, no, it's too late. Next morning I got up, chanting on my beads in my room on the floor, sitting chanting. She opened the door. So I'm there, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. And she's like, so then she rang all her friends, and then her friends rang me, and they said, what are you doing to your mother? I said, what can I do? Now's time. Time has come. Material world is not working for me. I want to be like Jagannath Balaprabhu, peaceful. So I walked in here and I thought I was just going to be peaceful for the rest of my life. And I haven't been peaceful since I... There's no peace in ISKCON. Because every day is like a battlefield. You have to do service. Hey, Prabhu. Hey, my first service. Actually, my first service was weeding around the garden. That was my first service. When my father used to ask me to weed, it was like torture, right? My father used to say, hey, Saturday, we're going to go out and weed. Oh, my God. But I was doing it for Krishna, and I was in bliss. I thought, this is wonderful. Weeding, no problem. And then after 3 or 4 days, I said, okay, you're going to Crossways. I said, okay, whatever that is. And then I met one devotee said to me one day, he said, if you want to really make advancement, you have to do Sankirtan, because Sankirtan is the rocket ship to make advancement, book distribution. Back then we used to do collection as well. And I said, okay, what is that? Whatever that, I want that. I want the rocket ship. So then I became book distributor and Sankirtan devotee, and then that's it, just brahmachari. Brahmachari life is best. I was brahmachari 8 years living here. Prabhupada said 3 bags, right? Sleeping bag, book bag, japa bag, that's it. Prabhupada said brahmachari, as soon as he put his head on the pillow, he just falls asleep, gets up, serves Krishna again. And it's the best life. Prabhupada said, best life. But then I fell into the deep, dark well of grihastha life. And now I come to this temple. I crawl out of the well. And I come to the temple just to see the devotees, just to get their mercy. And they give me some mercy. That's why gradually I'm coming out of the well, pulling myself out gradually, with the help of the Vaishnavas. So the point is, we have to be very careful, right, in spiritual life. Right? Don't think that you are something special, because we are not something special. I only became a devotee because I felt like I had no choice, because my material life was not working for me. So then I'm not like some special devotee. I don't go around calling myself Brahmana. I teach Shastra here in the temple, but I don't go around saying I am a Brahmana. Like that. I'm just a fortunate devotee that Prabhupada gave me some service, that's all. So that's how we should think. So this Varnashram system that's mentioned previously, it's not so prevalent now in Kali Yuga. In Kali Yuga we mainly concentrate on just trying to be a good devotee. Prabhupada said, don't try to be a great devotee, just be a good devotee. That's enough. So just be a good devotee. Just get the blessings of the other devotees. If the other devotees are happy with you, you might even go back to Godhead. If the devotees are not happy with you, then you have to be very careful. So we'll stop here. Any questions or comments on what we discussed? Yeah, one of you. You go for it. You go.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thanks for a nice class. When you're speaking about the offending Vaishnavas, and then you made the point that when we're offending Vaishnavas, we won't get the mercy of Krishna, but sometimes we still think we're getting the mercy of Krishna, but actually that's not true. So in the context of, how do we actually know if we're actually getting the mercy of Krishna? Because, using your example as, I guess, the Ritvik, I guess in their eyes they're making so much progress, but they're offending the Guru and Vaishnavas. So, how do they not see that they're not getting the mercy of Krishna?
Yeah, they're feeling some reciprocation, they're feeling some happiness from serving, but that offense is hanging over them. So it restricts the ultimate destination. So we have to be very careful. We don't want to restrict the ultimate destination. So the question is, we're in ISKCON. Prabhupada said, don't leave our camp. All right, so stay here, serve nicely, follow the process that Prabhupada gave us. And how do we know if we're pleasing Krishna? If the devotees are happy with us, if the Guru is happy with us, right? Sometimes we might upset a devotee or something. So if we do that, then go to the devotee and say, even if you're more senior than them, if you feel like you've upset them, you should go to them and try to make amends. We shouldn't have negative relationships with devotees. And if that happens, we should do something about it. Sometimes I know devotees in our congregation, they haven't spoken for years. What's the point of that? Why not just go to each other and bow down, offer a and say, listen, I'm sorry, there's some misunderstanding we had. But please, let's not, you don't have to be best friends, but still, you shouldn't keep these kind of relationships with others. So make sure the devotees are happy with you. In general, the devotees should be happy. And the other way of understanding if Krishna is pleased is the deities. Prabhupada said, if Krishna is smiling, we have these beautiful deities here, right? So we come before them, and if they're smiling, we know, okay, they're happy. You know, sometimes I walk in, I bow down, I look up, and they're smiling. I think, oh, that's nice, because they're satisfied. Other times I can see they're a little bit withdrawn, reserved, and I think, okay, then I have to reflect. You know, that's why we come before the deities, because you reflect. And then sometimes in your heart, you know, they say to you, okay, maybe this happened, that happened, I'm not so satisfied, and then you have to rectify that. Everyone will give you, you have a special relationship with each one of them. You know, for me, you know who gives me the hardest time out of everyone? Who do you think? Huh? Yeah, Nityananda Prabhu. He is the most merciful, so I think for everyone else he probably gives you the most reciprocation. He's the easiest. But for me, everyone else can smile, but he'll just look at me. And I think, what have I done? He goes, you know. Huh? You're not trying hard enough. I'm like, okay, I'll try harder. He pushes me all the time, like that. So, you know, I'm very fortunate that, you know, he does like that. Yeah, it's great. So that's how you know. How do you know if Krishna's happy? If the devotees are happy and if the deities are happy, then keep going. Is that okay? Okay. Question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for the nice class. Prabhu, you were talking about criticizing Vaishnavas and that we should not do it. So my question is, if I mentally criticize a devotee in my mind, but don't speak to anyone about it, so if I sincerely confess in front of Krishna that, you know, I did this, will he intervene? Because if I go up to that devotee saying, you know, I did this, will you please forgive me? I think that wouldn't that make the problem much bigger and complex?
Yeah, if we got reactions, if we got reactions for everything we thought about the other devotees, we would all be dead. Because we do. We are like, I'm very critical. Just my nature, I'm very critical. But if everything that goes in my mind, in Kali Yuga, you don't get the reactions for what you think, which is fortunate. Because if I got the reaction for everything in my mind, I'd be like, yeah, I'd be in a wheelchair right now. So, yeah, if you're thinking those things, the main thing is change the way you think. You have to learn to do that, right? When you see your mind is criticizing, look for something good. Because every devotee has something good, okay? So then look for something good. And then train your mind not to see the negative thing. Because you can tell Krishna, you can go to Krishna and say, oh, Krishna, I was thinking this about doing it. Krishna already knows you were thinking it. He knew it even before you were going to think it, you were going to do it. He already knows those things. So it's not about him, it's about you. You have to change. So learn to say nice things about devotees. Because we all criticize. You know, I hear devotees criticize each other. Learn to say good things about the devotees, right? And do savor for the devotees. Serve them. And if you have someone in your mind who you know you've been critical, then go to them. Don't tell them that you've been critical, but serve them. And then you'll develop the right attitude towards them. That's better. It's okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki.